You're watching the Backbeat Experience.
All music is the same. It's just a new set of lyrics and a new backbeat.
AndreGraziadei here today with the Backbeat Experience and a chat with Roger Thomas from Naturally 7. Thanks a lot for taking time out to have a chat.
Pleasure.
What would be your musical family background?
Musical family background. Okay, interestingly put. My dad was a gospel singer. So we started singing in church. Me and my brother in the group. I'm Roger. He's Warren, and we grew up listening to our dad sing with a 6-man gospel group. So we grew up group-minded, like looking for the bass and
Right.
first tenor and who's singing the lead and how that whole thing was set up. So as soon as we were of age, we decided to start our own group.
And that was in 1999.
That was even before 1999.
Long before that.
Yeah, that's back in 1986.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 99,
yeah.
you guys decided to create your own group.
That's when we decided to do something that we felt like maybe didn't exist.
Right.
Start something. So we had this a cappella background, and in '99 we said, well, how can we do something that maybe no one's doing? You know, we respect Earth, Wind and Fire and the Beatles and the Bee Gees. Anytime you can hear just a few bars, you know it's them. So we wanted to find something that people would know it's Naturally 7 within a couple of bars.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where we started imitating instruments. Starting with my brother, who's the vocal drummer.
The drummer, right.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys don't refer to yourselves as a cappella, but strictly then vocal play.
Well, we did in the beginning, and then we found probably around 2002 or 3 that oftentimes when people would come to our show, they would say to us, "This is not what I expected."
So the preconceptions were certainly there.
Yes. And the term vocal play came from us realizing that we needed to coin a phrase that was more specific to what we were doing.
So generally trying to put the people in that direction for what exactly they might be expecting.
Yeah, I mean, a cappella is such a broad term. It means singing without instruments. That can be barbershop. It can be classical. It can actually be any genre. You can do it.
Right.
Just as long as you're not singing with instruments. We found that we needed to specifically say a cappella is when you sing without instruments. That's good. So we're under that umbrella. But vocal play is when you become known instruments that people can go, I believe that's a trumpet. I think that's the bass guitar. You know, that type of thing.
So I was watching online, you guys did something called 7 Days of Vocal Play, which is a very good example of exactly what it is you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
I was very impressed by that.
Oh, thank you.
Who came up with that idea?
I want to say I did. Just like there's seven of us, 7 days in a week.
Right.
Let's add an instrument each day, and see. Let people see it build. We've found, even in the show we do right now, we've found that people are able to digest it when we break it down. Sometimes when they hear the whole thing, it's like, oh my goodness, this is...
How is this possible?
How is this possible? So we have certain songs where, okay, let's break it down so you can hear one guy at a time.
Right.
And then build it back up and take it apart again and pull it back up. So the 7 days came from that same sort of concept of let's start from, I think we might have started with the bass and then just built it up with all these different instruments.
When I first heard the name Naturally 7, I was thinking boy band. I mean, how old were you guys when you started that?
Teens?
Yeah, so that might have fit.
Yeah.
I guess,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
Would it be a chance to say that some of you guys were inspired by Michael Winslow?
Yeah. Well, I would say Michael Winslow is a fraction in there. Bobby McFerrin is going to be in there. Hip hop, Dougie Fresh and the Fat Boys and anybody that has done anything without instruments. You know, Take Six has been a big influence
Right.
For us. Yeah, I mean, we really do study our music history. So we go back to the 1930s with the Golden Gate Quartet and all sorts of different things where anybody was doing any sort of messing around with instrumentation. It goes way back to them.
There's been, over the years, there have been members that have come and gone, lineup changes. How do you guys find the replacements?
It's very hard.
I would think so.
It's very hard. So the latest member that we have has been in the group now, really just, I think I want to say 7 months, maybe 8 months now. And while that's fresh in my mind, it's he was replacing the guy that was the harmonica player.
Right.
You know, and you're just not going to find another person that is going to be able to do exactly the same thing. It's just not going to happen.
That's why I was wondering, because everybody's got their own thing.
Right.
How is it possible to replace somebody that's going to do that same thing? So it means somebody that's going to come in that's going to bring another facet to it.
Right. And they do bring another facet to it, as Sean Simmons is the newest member. He brings another facet, but Garfield Buckley, who he replaced, left with something.
Right. He took something with him.
I should say it that way. He took something with him, and that's the beauty of the human voice. It's really not just like a bass player or a player of an instrument where that person can listen to that person and just match what they do. Mm-hmm. Vocally, you have to see where does your voice fit in the spectrum of, is it low, is it high, is it medium? The reason we can recognize a person's voice is because, hundreds of voices, they're unique.
Well, a voice is like an instrument, but it's not something you can go buy in a shop.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
So I watched the video for Going Home. I mean, some of your members of the band are still from different places of the States and even Canada. Mm-hmm. I thought that was interesting as a video to watch.
In fact, the newest member in the group, a Canadian, the guy that left the group lives in Canada.
Okay.
And the newest guy that came in is from Canada.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so we kept Canada. He's from Toronto.
Did they know each other?
Did not know each other.
No, okay. So singing a cappella certainly has its advantages. It keeps the touring gear down to a minimum.
Yes. Yeah.
Just microphones. Now, as far as the microphones are concerned, are they all different for each member?
Wow, that's a good question. Bass and our drums have different mics from the other five of us. And there are other different things that are in there, again, because they're the rhythm section. They're the rhythm section, so there's a lot of times they're hitting their microphones really, really hard. So their setup is quite different from the other five.
So I'd imagine that they have a backup microphone in case one doesn't.
No,
I would hope.
Yeah, I mean, all of us do. We do. I mean, people do think our setup may be more simple than a normal band, and in terms of bulk and weight and all that type of stuff, true.
For sure.
But the complexity of getting our wall of sound as big as a band does require a decent amount of equipment to do so.
The Phil Spector syndrome.
Yes, yes.
So how do you guys try to avoid getting a cold or contracting anything while on tour? I mean, your voice is your capital.
Absolutely. These are great questions. Sleep.
That's it?
Sleep is first.
Okay.
It's first thing on the list.
Right.
We didn't understand in the early days how important sleep was in terms of just rejuvenating your body. So a lot of times when people are doing the after parties and all this type of stuff, nope, not going to work. Like a tour like this one, where we're singing every single day up to December 22nd.
Wow.
You've got to get 6, minimum 5 hours of sleep as if you can. Other than that, we are very, very careful outside weather-wise in this type of weather. You got to be very careful as you go from hot to cold, cold to hot, and all that type of stuff. So you're covering up. your throat, like just like you wouldn't put your violin anywhere, because you know
Yeah.
that's how we are with. Because once a voice is down, you've really hurt the show. And
Yep.
even while we're on the road, we're a group that likes to debate while we're traveling and stuff. And we've even had to police that to keep people not talking too much, not
Right.
trying to talk too loud.
Keep the chords
Yes, yeah.
mellow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. New material. How do you guys get that together? Like, how do you choose songs that you're going to cover, or what percentage of material comes onto an album?
Choosing what songs we're going to cover. You know, I'm the musical director in the group, and it's very, very important that if we're going to cover a song, it's something that we can take someplace where it hasn't been. We can't go on YouTube and see that somebody else has done the same thing.
Right.
Something that when our audience hears it, they go, "Oh, naturally 7, we were born to sing that song." You know, you want it to really feel like it's yours. So we have those are covers. We also have what we call hybrids, where we'll take a song like "In the Air Tonight" and mix it with our own song.
Like it did with sampling.
Yes.
In the 90s.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. The same as sampling, and then our original material, we do. You know, we've got about 5 or 6 writers in the group, so that's just a democratic process of looking at where do we want to go this particular album, that type of thing.
Well, I watched your version of "You're the Voice" from John Farnham. Spot on.
Oh, thank you.
Really,
We
really
didn't
great.
even-
That's a really good cover version of something.
Thank you. We did not know that song as Americans.
Really.
We went to Australia
Okay.
and they taught us that song. You know, they asked us. I can't remember what it was but they wanted us to take a look at it, and we were like, "Oh, it's a great song." So we learned it for a particular tour in Australia,
Okay.
and have been doing it ever since.
So collaborations, you played for Quincy Jones. I don't know if you worked with him.
We have worked with Quincy Jones.
Okay, Anastasia, Jackson's. I mean, the list goes on. Michael Bublé,
Yeah. Done 3
my
world
Canadian
tours.
countryman.
3 world tours with him.
3 world tours. So, what challenge does that pose to be able to play with someone like that?
Bublé was really, really interesting because we hadn't opened for many people before. We've always mostly, you know, been our show, but we chose to do that. But I remember prior to doing that, there was, I'll let them be unnamed, but we opened for 1 or 2 people, and they were like, too strong.
Okay.
Too strong. So we opened for him, and we started getting standing ovations in these arenas, and we were like, "Oh my goodness, are we gonna get kicked off this tour?" And he had a meeting with us and just set us at ease and said, "Look, guys," pretty much said, "I'm Michael Bublé." He said, "I'm Michael Bublé, and I want the best show possible. So the better you guys do, the better the show's going to be. Don't worry about me." And so from that point, we didn't. And he would come out and see us night after night and talk about us in his show. And then eventually we started singing in his show.
Okay.
And then we've since then done several songs on his album. He's recorded on our album, that type of thing. But bottom line is that he's confident. He's confident in himself. He's confident that his fans love him. And so he felt we were, you know, no threat, just made the show better.
A perfect match.
Yeah.
2012 is kind of an irony. You did Night of the Proms, which when you consider it's a full orchestra, that was kind of like, I see that as an irony.
Absolutely. At first, I didn't know why we were going to do it. You know, I told our management at the time, like, that's exactly what we don't do. You know,
Right.
It's an orchestra, whatever. And they talked us into it, and the orchestra with United Proms always backs for the whole song. So we made a compromise that we would do our a cappella portion for about half the song, then the orchestra would come in and join us.
Okay.
And then there was one song we did just by ourselves, Wall of Sound. Well, the marriage worked so well I was so surprised that even when the orchestra came in, 100-piece orchestra at that, you could still completely tell this is naturally 7, and this is the orchestra. It was, and the person that wrote did the arrangements to our arrangements, it was just awesome. In fact, I regretted not. There was one song we did by ourselves, and I was like, oh, I would have loved to hear what the orchestra would have played with us, at least halfway through that song too. So no, it was a wonderful experience.
Great. There's one thing I read online. It was somebody that made a comment on one of your videos, and I'm going to quote this. After spending 50 years of my life involved in the music industry in one aspect or another, I find it totally impossible to muster the proper words to describe what I just witnessed. You gentlemen are the best thing that's happened to the music industry in decades, and thank you for your combined talent. I think that was pretty befitting.
That's a high compliment. Yeah. We've been blessed for people to come to us, and all sorts of people that will say, listen, I was there when the Beatles did this, or when somebody, just really, and this is one of the best shows I've ever seen. We've just felt like, wow. Even our experience with Quincy Jones. At his 75th birthday, when we were invited, there was nothing but the legends there, Herbie Hancock and Patty Austin, and we were invited guests. He didn't know who we were. We came on the stage.
Was that intimidating?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we did the song called Wall of Sound. In Wall of Sound, we had Off the Wall inside of it, and he lost his mind and came on the stage afterwards and said it was one of the best things he'd ever witnessed. And when you hear that type of thing from somebody of his caliber, then you take it and you feel like musically you've arrived. You've done your thing. Everything you dreamed of doing musically, you've gotten there.
The seal of approval.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the top. Yeah. So your latest album now is what is it? What is it called? Experience.
Christmas
Experience. Yeah. So it's a third Christmas album.
It is really our second.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I saw online it was always 2 previously. But in any case, is it harder to write a Christmas song?
An original one?
Yeah.
That was a silly question, by the way. If you're writing a song,
right?
I would say yes. I think that as soon as you think of Christmas songs, because some songs have been here all your life long, they've just, they have this grand thing in your mind. So you're writing a new song, and you want it to be just as grand and as important as White Christmas, or anything. And I think it's challenging, but at the same time, that's the type of challenge we like. So this latest album, we have, I want to say 3 or 4 original songs on the album, which is a lot for a Christmas album.
Okay, that's why. So that was the question. So it is difficult to write a Christmas song.
Yes.
All right. So is the music industry supporting this kind of thing? What you guys are doing?
Depends what you mean by supporting.
Well, what you guys do. You're just not a typical band. As you say, your vocal play.
You said 99. We're getting ready to come up on 2019.
20 years.
20 years. We've been doing it for 20 years. In one way, you have to say yes, it's supporting us. We've been able to travel around the world. From a radio standpoint of the music industry there, I think that, no, there's a lot of growing, there's a lot of lack of growth, I should say,
right,
in the music industry in terms of just allowing different things.
Diversity,
yeah, absolutely.
is lacking.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Okay, Roger, my last thing would be either or. So I'm going to give you 2 choices. Actually, at the end, it's be 3. So let's see now. Summer or winter? Which would you prefer?
Winter.
Winter? Okay. You like snow?
Going back to music, I'm more creative in the winter.
Really? Okay.
I think most people are more creative during coldness than they are in the heat.
Well, you're less distracted?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when I even think of the countries of the world and industry and getting things done, the warmer the climate is,
The less gets done.
the less gets done.
Right.
Just look at that. Just check it.
Go for siesta.
Yeah.
Steak or seafood?
Steak.
Steak. All right, barbecue man. Woodworking or painting?
Painting.
Painting. That's,
I like to draw.
that's the creative part in you. Cooking or cleaning?
Cleaning.
So the wife cooks and you
The
clean.
wife cooks for sure.
Okay. So planes, trains, or automobiles?
Planes, trains, or automobiles. Okay. Automobiles.
Probably because you're the one driving.
I'm the one driving.
You're the one in charge.
Yeah.
Well, Roger, thank you very much.
Thank you. It was great. Great
Okay.
interview.
Thank
Love
you.
the questions.